Hello, students. So now we are going to start Super DILR series where I'm going to discuss one of the most amazing sets from CAT previous year questions. First set that I'm taking here is visa application, which is from CAT 2023 slot 1. And this set has been mentioned so many times because of its language. Let's see. It says a visa processing office accepts visa application in four categories: US, UK, Schengen, and others. The applications are scheduled for processing in 20 15-minute slots. 20 15-minute slots. Each slot is of 15 minutes, and there are 20 slots starting at 9 a.m. and ending at 2 p.m. So 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. it's 5 hours. That is 300 minutes. 20 into 15, 300 minutes. So somehow uh, very much it makes sense. Now it says 10 applications are scheduled in each slot. So there are 20 slots. In each slot, there are 10 applications. Now it says there are 10 countries, 10 counters in the office, four dedicated to US applications. So there are 10 counters. How many dedicated to US? Four counters. You can take it like this: four counters, UK, Schengen, and others. And two each for UK applications, Schengen applications, and other applications. So two counters, okay, for rest of them. Now it says applicants are called in for processing sequentially on first come first served basis. So if you're coming first, you are getting first served whenever a counter gets freed for their category. Now, the processing time for an application is the same within each category, but it may vary across the categories. The processing time, okay, we can say the processing time for each of the counter, okay, each of the category. So within a category, the processing time is same. Like let's say if there are two-person A and B coming to US visa application, both of them will be required same time. If one is required 5 minutes, other will also require 5 minutes. All of them will require 5 minutes. In this one, all of them will require 6 minutes. It could be 5 minutes also, but these two are not necessarily same. These two times are not necessarily same. It says each US and UK application requires 10 minutes of processing time. So this one in US it's 10 minutes and in UK it's 10 minutes. We don't know anything about Schengen. We don't know anything about others. Let's say this is a minute and this one is B minute for each visa application processing time. Depending on the number of application in a category and time required to process an application for that category, it is possible that an applicant for a slot may process later. So it's just like usual thing, nothing different. Whatever happens when we go to the some queue, some line in a bank or anywhere else, what happens? You get a token, you get a waiting number, right? So whenever you are called your waiting number, if you are present there, you will get there at instant. If you are not present there, anyone who is behind you will get that, okay, and you will get that later whenever you come. So everything is normal. They try to twist it because of this language, but till now everything is very normal. Next it says on a particular day, Ira, Vijay, and Nandini were scheduled for Schengen visa processing in that order, and they had 9:15 a.m. slot, but they entered VPO at 9:20 a.m. Okay, for Schengen, which has two counters, okay, and they entered at 9:20 while their slots were 9:15. So basically, they were part of the second slot. This is the first slot and this is second slot. It says when they entered the office, exactly 6 out of the 10 counters were either processing applications or had finished processing one or and ready to start processing the next. So basically, they were working. Okay, 6 of them were working, 4 of them were idle at that time. Mahira and Osman were scheduled in the 9:30 a.m. slot on that day for visa processing in others category. So in others category, which has again two counters, okay, at 9:30, Mahira and Osman were scheduled in the 9:30 a.m. slot on that day, okay, in that category, 9:30 slot. Now, what do we know? Next statements has been given. The following additional information is known about that day. All slots were full. If all slots were full, how many slots were there? We know that there were 20 slots, and each slot there were 10 applications, so a total of 200 applications. Right now, the number of US applications was the same in all the slots. The same was true for the other three categories. This is very interesting. And this is basically most useful information of this set. Like in each slot, the number of applications in each of these categories were same. Like if in the first slot, in Schengen visa application, there were 4 applicants. In a next slot, there will also be 4 applicants. Then next, again 4. So in all 20 slots, there will be 4 applicants. So 20 into 4, 80. Just for example, I'm not saying it's 4. In others also, if in the first slot there were only one applicant, in all 20 slots there will be only one applicant. So we can find total number of applicants for others. It will be 20. Same for US, same for UK. Now, it says 50% of the applications were US applications. So total, this is total, right? Can we say 50% of 200 is 100? So 100 applications were for US applications. Okay. So this one is 100 applications. How many slots? 20 slots. So in each slot, there will be 5 applicants, right? In each slot, there will be 5 applicants for US. Exactly 5. Next, all applicants except Ira, Vijay, and Nandini arrived on time. Vijay was called to a counter at 9:25 p.m. We will come to these information later. But let's say we know that at 9:15 in Schengen visa application, there were at least three: Ira, Vijay, and Nandini. Ira, Vijay, and Nandini. Can we say in Schengen visa applications, in each slot, there must be at least three, or it could be more than three also? Okay. In case of others, it says Mahira and Osman were scheduled in the 9:30 a.m. slot. So at least two people are scheduled each slot in others. Can we say at least two? Can we say total number of applications in Schengen visa will be 60 plus 20 into 30, 60 plus? In case of others, it will be 40 plus. And in case of US, it's exactly 100. If you add this, what do we get? 60 plus 40 plus 100, 200 plus. But we know that total number of applications is 200. So can we say these are not plus, but exactly those numbers, 60 and 40? Can we say that there were exactly 3 applications in each slot for Schengen, and total number of applications for Schengen were 60? In others, exactly 2 applications per slot, and total number of applications in others were 40. Then it becomes 200. What we can say about UK now? Can we say that there must be 0 applications per slot for UK and hence overall 0? So we can talk about the two counters of UK. Those were of no use. Those were of no use. Out of these eight, all of them are working. Why? Because in US, out of five applications, only four can be attended at one time because there are only four counters. In case of other, two counters, two applications each slot. In case of Schengen, two counters, three applications. So there must be a case where one application is getting finished, others next one are getting chance, and so on. We will come to that. Now let's think about this. Let's come to next part, which is says fourth point: all applications except not this one. All applications except this one. Ira, Vijay, and Nandini arrived on time. Ira, Vijay, and Nandini were late. How much? 9:20. They were scheduled at 9:15, but they arrived at 9:20. Now think about that. Before that, there must be three-person who arrived here. Okay, at 9 o'clock. There are only two counters. So what will happen? They will get their applications start process straight away. Okay, we don't know how much time it take. In case of US, it's given 10 minutes. In case of UK, it's also given 10 minutes per application processing time, but that is totally useless. We don't need to talk about that. But in case of Schengen, they started at 9 o'clock. Okay, they started at 9 o'clock. We don't know when those were finished, but there is one person waiting. So whenever one got finished their application, second one must have been started straight away. Now, if that one, this processing time is less than 15 minutes, so there must be a waiting time for this counter till 9:20, right? There must be a waiting time for this counter till 9:20. Now, it says Ira, Vijay, and Nandini were scheduled for Schengen visa processing in that order. Means Ira came first, then Vijay came, and then Nandini. Yes, all of them came at 9:20, but in that order. So, of course, Ira will be getting preference. But it also says that Vijay was called to a counter at 9:25 p.m. If Vijay was called to a counter at 9:25 p.m., that means Ira must have been called before that. It could be 9:24 a.m., 9:23 a.m., 9:20 a.m., 9:21. It could be anything from 9:20 a.m. to 9:24 a.m. We don't know that. But just try to understand this situation. What happened here? That these three-person, these were getting processed their visa. As soon as one got finished, other started this one. Okay, like this. One of them are waiting till 9:20. Okay, where Ira, Ira just entered the office. She must have gotten her chance here. Then the processing time for Ira started. Okay, it could be again 9:20, 9:21, 9:22, 9:23, 9:24. We don't know that. But think about Vijay. Vijay got his chance as 9:25 a.m. Vijay must have gotten his chance here, right? Vijay must have gotten his chance here. Vijay got his chance at 9:25 a.m. This is Vijay. This is 9:25. What does that mean? Can we say that these two applications must have been finished by 9:25? Because if it was finished before that, then Vijay must have been called before. Let it be 9:24 or 9:23 or 9:22. But Vijay was called at 9:25. Ira was called before that. So Ira could have been this time for Ira could have been 9:22, 9:24. We don't know that yet. But in case of Vijay, Vijay must have been called. Vijay was called at 9:25. That means these two. applications were finished in 25 minutes. So can we say one application processing time for Schengen must be 25 by 2, which is equal to 12.5 minutes. So this is 12.5 minutes for the processing time for Schengen. Now, next it says for others. Let's come to others. In others, Mahira and Osman were scheduled at 9:30 a.m., right? Slot on that day for visa processing. And other thing that is very important here, it says when they entered the office, exactly 6 out of the 10 counters were either processing applications or had finished processing. Now, this requires a deep analysis. Let me tell you how. Let's talk about the US applications first. Okay. We have 4 slots, right? We have 4 counters. So let's write it down like this: 9, 9, 9, and 9. 10-minute processing time, the number one, two, three, four. All of them finished by 9:10. But there were 5 applications in each slot for what? For US visa applications, 10-minute processing time, 5 applications per slot. So can we say now these three of these will rest for 5 minutes, but one of them will process the fifth one. So this will be 9:20. This will rest for 5 minutes. Let's write it as R. These three are resting for 5 minutes, and at 9:15 they again started. So sixth person, seventh person, eighth person, like this. Now let's come to Schengen. In Schengen, what do we know? 2 counters, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and we know that it was 12.5 minutes. So it will be both of them work till 12, 9, 12.5. Then one of them will work till 9:25. Okay. And this will rest till 9:15. And not only 9:15, actually 9:20. Why 9:20? Because these three people were late. And this counter was idle till 9:20, but this is now ready to start processing. For whom? For Ira. Okay, so this is now ready to start processing. Now, in case of others, in case of UK counter, we already know in case of UK counter, those are idle. Now, let's see what are those six. Let me read the statement again. It says, when they entered the office, exactly 6 out of the 10 counters were either processing applications or had finished processing one and ready to start processing the next. So let's see how many of them we have. This is one. This is just finished one. So one of them is here. Can we say this one is already processing till 9:25? So we have our second counter, which is either as per the definition, either processing one or just finished one or ready to start next one. We have third counter again. This one is also working at 9:20. This one is also working till 9:25. So this one is also working. What about this one? This one is also working at 9:20. So fifth counter. What about this one? This one is ready to start. Can we say this is our sixth counter? So these are the six counters, 6 out of 10 counters, which were either processing one or had just finished processing one or ready to start one. These are the six counters. So four of them were idle. Out of those four, two of them were US UK visa applications, about which we know already finished. So what are those rest two counters? Can we say these others must have been idle at 9:20? Can we say must have been idle at 9:20, and they're also not ready to start the new one. So what we can say here, this is 9 o'clock slot, next slot is 9:15, and at 9:20 they are not ready to start one. They are not even working. What does that mean? They are not ready to start application, processing the application at 9:20. So can we say they must have been finished by now? This gap is 5 minutes. They had two applications, two counters. Can we say they must have finished processing those application in this 5 minutes? So the processing time for others, the processing time for visa applications for others must be less than equal to 5 minutes. So in this case, if this was 12.5 minutes, this must be less than equal to 5 minutes. This was the most difficult part of this set. Now we are ready to solve each question very easily. First one, how many UK applications were scheduled on that day? Zero, right? Zero UK applications. Next one, it says, what is the maximum possible value of the total time in minutes nearest to its integer value required to process all applications in the others category on that day? Again, as I was discussing about this set initially, that there were lots of confusion regarding this set when answer keys were provided. Okay, so this is one of the questions that created the confusion. But now it should be clear to you that maximum 5 minutes for one application. How many application for others? 40. So maximum it will be 200 minutes total time. Next, which of the following is the closest to the time when Nandini's application process got over? Nandini, Schengen visa applications. What do we know? They started at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock. Next, 9, 12.5. This was 9:20. This is here where Ira's application got started processing, and this went on till 9:32.5. This was at 9:25. Vijay's application got processed here till 9:37.5. So that means Nandini's application must have been accepted here and then was processed till 9:45. The answer is D, 9:45. Next one, which of the following statements is false? The application process of Mahira was completed before Nandini. Mahira was scheduled at 9:30. In others, the processing time for others is maximum 5 minutes. This must have been got over by 9:35 a.m. or before that. While Nandini, we just saw that it was processed. The process was completed at 9:45 a.m. So this is true. This one is true. The application process of Osman was completed before Vijay. Vijay's application was completed at 9:37.5, and Osman application was scheduled at 9:30 at others, which must have been over by 9:35. So again, this one is true. So let's check the next one. The application process of Osman was completed before 9:45. Again, same as the last one. The application process of Mahira started after Nandini. That is not possible because Nandini's application started processing at 9:32.5, while the application process of Mahira started at 9:30. It was before, not after Nandini. So this must be false. And that is your answer. Option D. Last question of this amazing set. It said, when did the application processing for all US applicants get over on that day? This is the most difficult question of this. Let me take you back to this page. Now you can see here that one of the application of the first slot was got over by 9:20. Okay, this was counters which were working that time, so let's not worry about that. One of the application got over at 9:20. 9 a.m. application got over at 9:20. Now let's check about the next one. So eighth was over here. Next will be over if we talk about the fourth one. So this will be ninth application, which will be processed at 9:30. Okay, but the tenth one, if we talk about the tenth one, this must be over by 9:35. So the application for the second slot, five applications. One of them got till third slot, 5 minutes in the third slot. One application from first slot went into 5 minutes in the second slot. One application from second slot went to 5 minutes more in third slot, and so on. So this goes on. So every application, we can say in this case, US applications. If we talk about one application of any slot X, okay, one application, okay, this will be processed by 5 minutes into next slot, means slot X plus 1. If you think about that, the slot was 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. and four counters each slot, five applications though. So last, if you talk about the last one, the 20th slot must have been went into 21st. Now 21st slot is not available, but the 20th slot was scheduled to get over by 2 p.m., but it will go 5 minutes beyond. Everything else was over. Schengen visa application 12.5 minutes. So it will be over by 2 p.m. Others only 5 minute processing time. It will also be over by 2 p.m. But US visa applications will be the last one. The last application will be over by 2:05 p.m. Right? So with that, we are done with this very beautiful set. I hope you enjoyed it and understood every inch of it. If you have any kind of doubt, let me know in the comments. Subscribe the channel and like the video, and suggest me if you want anything, and I will bring the videos on that to help you guys. And I'll be keep uh, making videos for more LRDI sets from CAT previous year questions. Thank you.